message directly across to the governor of the central bank, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his two deputies after he failed to meet them to take their petition earlier today. We'll put this in focus as we speak to some of the organizers of this protest and other financial analysts and experts on their demands tonight. Also, fellows with renal conditions are asking government intervention because they say they are still being made to pay the illegal fees of 765 cedis that the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital publicly noted was proposed and not finalized. We'll be speaking to a member of the group, persons living with kidney diseases. They share their plight with us here on Ghana Tonight, and Farmer Environment Science Technology Innovation Minister Professor Konafi Pombo is in the news again. He is adamant President Akufo-Addo is no longer the man he once knew. He says the president is no longer the man he campaigned for in the 2016 general elections as far as corruption is concerned. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. We'll get into some of the issues that he talked about in that Africa Report interview. Very, very, very detailed indeed. Stay with us. We'll get into all of that, plus some reactions from the civil society organizations in the corruption space. As always, you are an integral part of the show. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and Twitter. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The minority in Parliament say they would press ahead for the removal of the governor of the Bank of Ghana after their Occupy Bank of Ghana demonstration ended without the meeting with the governor and his deputies. The minority had hoped the march to drum home their dissatisfaction with the running of the central bank will culminate in a face-to-face meeting with the governor, but that didn't happen.
He has decided to disrespect us, and his two deputies has also decided to disrespect us by not being here and to receive our petition. We never said we are going to present our petition to the head of security. And now that he has decided to disrespect us, we will not present our petition. We will go and come back again.
Residents of Ashaiman have given the government a 2-month ultimatum to commence rehabilitation works on all Ashaiman roads. The residents have threatened to picket the Ministry of Roads and Highways after the 2-month ultimatum.
The scene of the roads has been a mirage, leaving our health and cars at the mercy of the poor roads. If within 2 calendar months we do not see any action of works within the municipality, we will organize another march. This time we will march to the ministry and picket at the Ministry of Roads and Highways.
The country representative of the World Health Organization to Ghana, Professor Francis Kasolo, has called on Ghana's government to investigate the increase in dialysis treatment at the Korle-Bu Teaching Hospital without approval. On the sidelines of the annual general and scientific meeting of the Medical Superintendent Group in Accra, he expressed the need for support for such diseases by the National Health Insurance Scheme.
The cost of healthcare across the world has generally been moving up for all sorts of reasons. So we need to see and discuss with colleagues who are in the, for example, Korle-Bu, to understand the reason for the increase. But like I mentioned, if our health insurance is strong, it can mitigate the cost of even renal care, if the renal care is one of the benefit package of the health insurance.
The Wa Circuit Court has on Tuesday, October 3, handed a 35-year-old local wedding decorator and designer a total of 76 years imprisonment in hard labor. Ahmed Rashid, aka Anata, was found guilty for attempted defilement and defilement of more than 10 minors under 16 years. Banking consultant Dr. Richard Echiahene has blamed the reduced level of savings on treasury bills coupled with economic uncertainties. He was reacting to revelations by Bank of Ghana's latest summary of economic and financial data regarding the decreasing level of interest rate on savings contrary to lending rates.
The higher treasury bill rates is basically crowding out the banks from cheaper funds so that they can lend cheaper to their customers. Most people are not saving in the banks as such. They all decided to turn to the treasury bill rates, the treasury bills, because the treasury bill has a higher rate.
Well, there's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, the minority members of parliament who partnered the likes of the Arise Ghana, the PNC, and 4 other political parties and the minded groups to demonstrate, calling for the removal of the Bank of Ghana. Governor and his 2 deputies say they have been disrespected after they were unable to meet Dr. Addison nor either of the 2 deputies present to present their petition. Earlier today, we gave you a comprehensive coverage of that peaceful protest and then also some of the issues that happened with the police and some misunderstanding that ensued during the period. But the minority in parliament say that they will not relent in their efforts to get the governor of the Bank of Ghana removed after their protest ended in a stalemate, having that decision to have the petition presented to the governor of the central bank not being fulfilled. Dr. Keselatu Forson spoke to journalists after the head of security of the central bank appeared to receive the petition, which they declined to give to him. Take a look.
There's no money in our pockets. We can't even learn a handwork because if we go and learn handwork, it's very, very expensive. Your mother cannot pay. If you chop money to eat.
I lost my job on the 23rd of January when the government decided to halt all road construction projects in Ghana.
The leadership of the protesters, on the other hand, were insistent they would occupy the BOG head office despite the police order that it won't happen.
When we get there, demonstration itself will end there. But the leaders of the demonstration, led by my good self and the NDC minority leadership, will have to be given the opportunity to walk into the central bank to present our petition to the government.
And so they began marching towards the headquarters of the Bank of Ghana. Police barricades were mounted along the stretch, triggering significant anger amongst protesters. As the crowd got close to the headquarters, the police presence got bigger, but so did the resolve of the protesters and their leaders to have access to the headquarters. In the end, the police stood their ground, but after a small compromise, the leadership of the minority were allowed into the headquarters to present their petition to the Bank of Ghana governor. But they would be disappointed.
The 3 governors, as we speak, are currently meeting the IMF and, in a meeting, and there's nobody there. So the government has asked that I meet you and take the petition on his behalf.
The absence of the governor and his deputies clearly infuriated Minority Leader Dr. Keselatu Forson.
He has decided to disrespect us, and his 2 deputies has also decided to disrespect us, but not being here and to receive our petition. We never said we are going to present our petition to the head of security. And now that he has decided to disrespect us, we will not present our petition. We will go and come back again.
So that's the position of the protesters there. You had Dr. Keselatu Forson, the minority leader. Now, they said they're going to come back again. One of the leaders of this protest, or leaders of one of the groups that align with the minority in parliament for this protest, is the Arise Ghana movement. and Bernard Mona is the leader of the Arise Ghana movement. Joining us on Zoom also, Professor Lord Mensah is an associate professor at the University of Ghana Business School. He's an economist. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. I'll start off with you, Mr. Bernard Mona. So your demand was to have the governor or his two deputies receive the petition, or no one else. You've gone back. You're going to come back again. Is that to say that there's going to be another protest organized at a time or on a day that the governor will be available? Or the minority in parliament would explore the option of giving him the petition when he appears before them in parliament?
First and foremost, because we tried an amicable way to get the governor of the Bank of Ghana to see the need to resign his position because he had failed to lead us to the, so that he, our first attempt, that the governor will be so elusive as to ensure that he will not be present at the time. This morning we were told that they left the bank around 10 a.m. We had our men around to check. Around 10 a.m., when the protest was about to start, they left the premises of the Bank of Ghana. We were told later that they claim he was sick and admitted at the Bank of Ghana hospital. We managed to go there, and they told us that we'll go and increase his pressure. Eventually, they asked that some of our leadership should go and meet with him. And can you imagine the insult? We got there, and they brought somebody, Asare Boatin, who says he's a wing commander, a retired wing commander, and that he's the director of security. To which he's the watchman or chief watchman at the Bank of Ghana. You direct a chief watchman to come and receive a petition of this magnitude from the kind of tumultuous crowd that we had. We said, no, we will not give the petition to him. We will return with a much bigger crowd to force the governor to resign. If Addison and his deputies knows what is good for them, they would do the needful before our next protest. Because that next protest, they can't escape it. And as long as they continue to be elusive, the citizens of this nation will continue to pursue them. So we're not going to just allow the minority to take the petition and go and give to one or two persons. We will go there in the crowd that wants the governor to resign.
I see. And Mr. Mona, I understand that your lights just went. That's why the background is quite dark. We'll stay with you a bit and hope to get some clarity, at least with the pictures. But this is just key aspects of the petition that you couldn't present or you decline presenting to the head of security because you want the governor to be the recipient of this petition. We got portions of it. This is it. That the Bank of Ghana officials have failed to protect the balance sheet of the central bank in the face of an overbearing and incompetent finance minister and the chairman of the government's economic management team, Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Now, and a few others also. Beyond that, they also make that specific demand of, secondly, having, and it continues, that two, groups say the financial sector has virtually collapsed, with all the 23 banks in the country recording massive impairment losses of over 18 billion cedis in 2022 alone. These are key aspects of the petition that the protesters sought to present to the governor of the central bank. So now, Mr. Mona, since you're insisting, in fact, that you would protest again, and the fact that the decision by the central bank governor and the two deputies is disrespectful, as you have described it, what's going to be the next step for you? When are you meeting to plan what the next step will be?
You would appreciate the fact that we will meet immediately, hopefully tomorrow. We will take a decision, probably just notify the police in accordance with the Public Order Act. Who knows? Next Tuesday may be possible.
Maybe, okay, we'll wait to see the communication from you. But Professor Lord Mensah, thank you as well for joining us here. And you've just heard from Bernard Mona, the reason given by the head of the security at the Bank of Ghana was that the governor and the two deputies were meeting the IMF team, which is in town to assess Ghana's IMF program, and that's why they couldn't meet these protesters to receive the petition. Does it suffice? Or you would also agree with the petitioners that that act alone was disrespectful on the part of the governor and the two deputies?
It is, and that should, tell you the kind of value the governor and the two deputies places on the taxpayer. Those on the street are not ordinary, people. They are there for a purpose. They're not just, on the street for jamboree or kind of, to walk around, but they are there to present their grievances. Having, understood that all the economic merits, is as a result of Bank of Ghana relaxing its mandate, the core mandate of a typical bank, and then giving too much respect to the executive and the government of this country. So, at least if you are meeting the IMF, one deputy with, the governor can do that. And then possibly, one of them comes to take up, the petition to show that kind of, respect. You see, Ghana is a place where when we put people at a position, they forget that they're working for the taxpayer. They forget that whatever decision they take, some way or other way, may end up right at the doorstep of, a typical Ghanaian. As I speak to you now, this evening, I saw a message, a news that, the government was not able to pay pension contributions for public sector workers for the past 8 months. And I asked myself, is that the extent of the economic, situation we find ourselves in now? To extent, even the future is being, compromised as we speak now. So, the signal that it sends to Ghanaians for the Bank of Ghana governor and the two deputies to attend an IMF, engagement without any of them realizing that at least there will be a demonstration and therefore they should be prepared to, meet the demonstrators and accept their grievances, possibly work towards that. And like I was saying, it gives you a signal of the kind of respect or the kind of disrespect that, people in position have for the ordinary man who is contributing, his or her taxes to take care of, those in position so that they can take good decisions for the country. So, yeah, it's a sign of disrespect, and it's kind of, it places more or less less of a value that they have,
I see.
for the taxpayer.
But Professor Mensah, the protesters went out there, and we're going to be putting portions of their petition alongside as we go on. They demand that the governor and the two deputies step aside. They should resign, go. And then new people are appointed to help correct the ills at the Bank of Ghana. Is this a call that you would support from your professional perspective and based on the analysis that you have made of the current state of the central bank itself?
See, if they resign, who is going to appoint the next, governor or the deputies? It's the same, president that we have. And so, even if it's a call, it should tell, the governor that, Wejuma Soni, your job is not up to, satisfaction. And so, therefore, your head is being called. We've not seen any demonstration against any governor in this country, as far as, I'm aware. But having demonstrators going on the street, calling for the head of the governor, the deputies, and then to some extent the board, it tells you that, yes, something is happening in the economy, which is not normal. And so I do support a call, but it's not a call that will yield, any results. But one way or the other, it sends us this a signal, and it sends, shivers to the spines of, the governor and his two deputies. Somebody will say it's too late to correct the mess, but at least having, demonstrators on the street, with your name on placards and your position on placards, it tells you that you are not working or you are not producing to the taxpayer satisfaction. And as a result of that, you better sit up.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Lord Benson. I appreciate your time here. Separate Associate Professor at the University of Ghana Business School, is an economist and a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School. Thank you so much for joining us with your thoughts on this. Bernard Mona, appreciate your time as well, the leader for Arise Ghana, one of the groups that aligned with the minority in parliament for this protest today. They've indicated tomorrow they are meeting and they would communicate what the next step will be or what the next date of the protest will be. But coming up, former Minister of Environment, Science, Technology, and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, says the Akufo-Addo that, quote, who is ruling Ghana today is not the same man that he campaigned for during the 2016 campaign elections, ahead of the elections 2016. Now, this was a statement that he made during an interview with the Africa Report, Pan-African magazine. And we've gleaned a number of the things he said. This is it, that President Akufo-Addo himself will agree that, quote, he has not been able to fight corruption. That's according to Professor Frimpong-Boateng in that interview. He says, today, corruption permeates every sector of this country, and it is getting worse by the day. He continues that the Akufo-Addo who is ruling Ghana today, quote, is not the same man that we campaigned for to win the 2016 presidential election. And then continues. So the president's statement of putting his presidency on the line to fight corruption was sincere, but the president is a different person now. That is why things are falling apart. It makes the point that sometimes the way things are done in this country, he tends to believe that a lot of prisoners are more righteous than the people who put them there. And guess what? He says a nation without integrity is a serious matter, and Ghanaians should really ponder over this. That's according to Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng there, and the issues that he raises and specific concerns that he puts across. And it is that last slide. Now take a look at that last slide that he makes reference to, and that issue that he talks about, that a nation without integrity should. It's a serious matter, and Ghanaians should really also ponder over this and what the way forward should be. And we've been joined on Zoom by Mary Ada, who is the Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, the local chapter of Transparency International. Mary, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. Now, you hear the likes of Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng speak the same way that the likes of UCSOs and other notable Ghanaians have been talking about with the fight against corruption. But the president says, well, when accusations come against my appointees, I refer them to the state agencies, they investigate them, and they clear them. So I cannot be called the clearing agent for corruption. That's the president's take.
Alfred, and good evening to your viewers. Our verdict is simple. We speak to the evidence, and we do not fault the president whatsoever if he believes he's doing the right thing. However, the question we should all be asking ourselves is the fact that what is the right thing? The right thing is that when we have allegations about corruption, all of us would appreciate the fact that when these allegations come up, the appropriate thing is to refer them to their investigative agencies. When the investigative agencies complete their work, certainly they would then share such results with the general public. That is the right thing to do. And so we expect to see that each and every time. However, when there is a pronouncement to the contrary, or before the investigative agency, share their results, then we have issues, because the independence of these investigative agencies would also require that whatever information they glean from their investigations would be shared. So for us, that is our position. Again, we say that when these investigations are done, there must also be action. And that is where the appointing authority then comes in. So what is the action that is taken after the issues are investigated? Would the president sit and watch his own being prosecuted? And we have seen in one case in particular that I would like to share, in the Shraj example, where the president did what was right or required of him, of referring the issue of ABAJ to Shraj. He allowed the process to go on. It carried on for about a year or thereabouts, and then Shraj shared the results of their investigations, which the president then acted on by finally relieving the gentleman of his post. So that is exactly what we want to see. However, if we have instances where a public officer who is serving Ghanaians, paid by the public purse, appointed by the president to serve, is cited or is alleged to be involved in certain behavior that could be corruption or corruption related, and this person is either coerced or willingly decides to resign, then immediately after the resignation, the acceptance letter quickly then affirms the president's trust in such a person. Then we beg to differ, because what else is the president doing but to clear the person by saying they believe in their integrity and they know that at the end of the day, their integrity will be proven. I believe those type of statements could be held back, allow the process to go on. Because we know for a fact that our laws in Ghana are limiting. And when that happens, you are putting the officer whom you have put in place of power to investigate in a position which he could have issues.
But Mary, what could be the consequence of this posture by the president or government towards the fight against corruption, and that what the lenses that you, civil society, and the likes of Professor Kwabena are wearing clearly shows that all is not well when it comes to the fight against corruption. But the president's lenses appears to be seeing something different. I mean, what could be the consequence of this self-denial, if you want to call it?
Alfred, you see, I would say that when people are charting paths, as it's said in local parlance, we do not know that our backs are crooked or we have charted paths that are not straight. And so that is why we have civil society and we have the ordinary Ghanaian to direct and show forth the right way and give guidance and advice and present the alternatives, or even if not the alternative, the other lens, because you cannot see it all. And so when such opinions and sometimes even expert opinions are put in the background to say that I also have my experts, those experts could be paying lip service. Those experts could be speaking from the stomach because that's where they get their pay from. However, those who do not receive their pay and are affected by the results of some of these bad decisions and bad governance would definitely have no other option but to state it as it is. And if you remember, some time past, when we talked about corruption and people did not listen, it affected their electoral fortunes. And if you look at what happened even in 2020, you won't be surprised that some of the complaints and the evidence to the alleged and sometimes very eminent cases of corruption and corruption related affected the government's fortunes in the elections, even though they won. We see what is happening in parliament today. It is not for the fact that the parliamentarians may not have been doing the right things, but when the people who are experiencing the effects of this governance do not see the good things emanating, then that's what happens. Also, we score very low on very credible indices that are supposed to then enhance our image. Today, we see it resulting in the type of economic downturn that this country is experiencing. We continue to say COVID, we continue to say Ukraine war, but we are all aware that some of the evidence of these emanated even in 2019 before COVID hit us. And when we have this, we live in a global village. We live in a space where we continue to contend and show that we are an example. We want to be a beacon. If we want to continue to show the way for others to follow, then I am sorry, the way we are treading does not portend that at all.
All right, thank you very much, Mary Ada, for joining us with your thoughts on this, clearly indicating some level of support for Professor Kwabena position on this fight against corruption. Mary Ada is Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, local chapter of Transparency International. Now, coming up next, fellows with renal conditions are calling for government intervention after they say they are still being made to pay the revised fees despite the Kolebu teaching hospitals denying of the approval of the proposed fees. We have details of that and some reactions coming up shortly, because a number of you who have been paying this 765 cedis that the Kolebu CEO joined us last week said that that has not been approved. Some of you have sent us receipts of that money that you paid. And then also a colleague, Johnny Hughes, also got copies of that. We will put that on the screen and seek some more answers from these persons who we understand are still being demanded to pay this amount. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Auditioning. Media General Group is hereby inviting all interested persons who aspire to become news presenters for auditioning as follows. Date: Thursday, October 5, 2023. The time is 9 a.m. Venue is at the premises of Media General Ghana. Required competencies: excellent reading skills, fluent in English, excellent editing skills, outgoing, abreast with local and international developments, news gathering and reporting skills, good writing, communication and presentation skills, ability to think creatively, and good research skills. Qualification: first degree in social sciences, communication or journalism and related disciplines. Master's degree is preferred.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint. As compared to other paint brands on the market, we take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
A Franco Trading Enterprise at the Braka branch. About phones near accessories, and in your make a nadia. When you say Franco Trading Enterprise, number one. Your television set from 24 inches to 65 inches, air conditioned from 1.5 horsepower to 2.5 horsepower. Your CCTV cameras, Bluetooth speakers, your phone covers, protectors, pen drive, hard drive, iPhone, Samsung, Infinite, Huawei. It's a full beer open Uyasima Fanebia. Pura Franco Trading Enterprise. Franco Trading Enterprise. Phones papa, television papa, air conditions papa, accessories papa nina.
Nobody ever thought their way to success. Nobody ever hoped their way to success. Nobody ever wrote goals on a planner to success. They acted. Action is what attracts. It's the action. It's the movement. Every person has a change the world speech inside of them. It's inside of you. Every one of you have a message. Every one of you have a dream. And my hope is that today you'll begin to express that dream better than you ever have, because people need to hear your story. People need to see your vision. And when you learn to communicate, you pass it on to others, and you help so many people make a difference in the world. So let your dream come out and learn how to communicate it with excellence. Thank you very much. My name is John.
Auditioning. Media General Group is hereby inviting all interested persons who aspire to become news presenters for auditioning as follows. Date: Thursday, October 5, 2023. The time is 9 a.m. Venue is at the premises of Media General Ghana. Required competencies: excellent reading skills, fluent in English, excellent editing skills, outgoing, abreast with local and international developments, news gathering and reporting skills, good writing, communication and presentation skills, ability to think creatively, and good research skills. Qualification: first degree in social sciences, communication or journalism and related disciplines. Master's degree is preferred.
Mike Brown's Kitchen. Mike Brown's Kitchen.
I'm ready to say me Mike Brown's Kitchen every hour. New season, new stations. Wara. My brass kitchen, oh. Nana, who want TV so I check. I knew who ya check. But the Yamiani and Chakrano. But TV3. Mimi Devia. 5 to 6 p.m. Nana Yabasha Wati. Mininu Kunum, my Basho Sesako, Ghana Fodo. Nana, my brass kitchen TV2 1 year, Nana. There be Ominia. Yeah, you on your TV so. Mimi Nana. Yeah, you was TV3 year. Now we show on your TV so. Now on your TV time, Ben. I am no see a copy no so pepe.
McBrown's Kitchen, premiering Saturday, October 7 at 5 p.m. on TV3.
This is Ghana Tonight. Now, fellows with renal conditions, that's the group, they are still paying the revised dialysis cost, that illegal fees of 765 cedis. This is despite Kolebut Teaching Hospital's management insisting, in fact, you heard the CEO of the Kolebut Teaching Hospital last week on this show, insisting that the new fee was a proposal and that only 5 people were asked to pay. In fact, 14 fellows, we understand, as persons living with kidney diseases, died during that carbon dialysis center shutdown between May and September this year, this last month. My colleague Iman Osmani went there, interacted with some of them to get details of what exactly led to these 14 persons dying. Take a look. And we'll get into the details and bring that to you shortly. And we'll have one of them joining us on the telephone to confirm a number of the things that we're learning as well with respect to these persons who are being made to pay and continuously these demands that have been made. But take a look at this, some of the receipts that some of you sent to my colleague John Hughes, and then also those of you who posted on our social media page, TV3 Ghana on Facebook there. As at the 27th of September 2023, that's the date of the stamp of the Kolebut Teaching Hospital. Some of you were paying. As at 27th September, that's just last week. Last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some of you were made to pay. This is 28th, Wednesday, right? 28th, and this one also the 25th. So right from the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, which is the Thursday, some of you, even on the 27th, were made to pay for this 765 cedis. And this one, 28th, another 28th receipt. And then this one, the 26th. So contrary to the Kolebut Teaching Hospital CEO's statement on this show last week, when I asked a question about how many people have been made to pay these unapproved fees, it says 5 people. We've just shown you receipts of 7 people so far who have been made to pay these illegal fees. Now, 14 people living with these kidney diseases died between May and September because of the shutdown of that unit at the Kolebut Teaching Hospital. So we got details of exactly what happened. Take a look.
With this proposed price, the annual cost of dialysis is going to shoot from 54,720 Ghana cedis to an unbearable cost of 110,160 Ghana cedis. That is if they are to increase the price to 765 Ghana cedis. Not forgetting the other huge costs embedded in numerous lab tests every month, catheter and fistula fixing and replacement when needed.
He highlighted the multifaceted challenges faced by ASRD patients, which encompass physical, mental, emotional, and financial aspects. The financial strain on patients and their families has been worsened by the recent increase in dialysis costs. The cabin dialysis shutdown has resulted in the tragic loss of 14 lives among ASRD patients, exacerbating the collective fear of an uncertain future.
Others lose their jobs and majority are unemployed. The high cost of ESRD already poses huge financial burden on us, the patients, and our families. Unfortunately, during this shutdown period, we have lost about 14 of our friends.
The group requested governments to waive import duties and taxes on dialysis consumables and machines and to revise National Health Insurance Scheme policies to cover or heavily subsidize dialysis costs. Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra.
Let's stay a bit further on this. Bafo Kojo Ahenkra is the spokesperson for the Fellows with Renal Conditions. That's the group that speaks for persons living with various kidney-related illnesses. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. First of all, we've just showed receipts of some of your members who were made to pay this illegal 765 cedis at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. When was the last time you received any information about your members being asked to pay these illegal fees?
Yes, please, with the new prices, now the unit is not open to the OPD, the outpatient. The unit is still not open to us. So we don't have access of whether we are paying the new price or we are paying the old price. The unit is still not open to us. So we only hear that some of the inpatient, that is the emergency cases they are doing, is some of them who have paid the new prices. It's something that we also heard. But honestly speaking, we the outpatient, the unit is not open to us, so we don't have access of either whether we are paying the 380 or we are paying the 765 because it's not open to us. But even that is one thing, is our that is our major problem. We don't know what we've done to these people. We don't know what we've done to these people, that they still don't want to open the unit to the outpatient people. Now, I can say that the unit is underused. The machines are there, and you're just doing emergency cases, maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 cases a day. And then the machines are there, and the outpatient, we are going around, we are the people dying. We are going around suffering. We are going around suffering. Getting money to go and do it outside, it's a problem. So please, we beg them. They should open the unit to the outpatient. We are begging them.
Then we can actually also relate to with what you're going through and the call that you're making, which is widely supported. But these 14 persons who died between May and September this year as a result of the shutdown of that unit at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, can you tell us a bit more about what happened?
Yes, it's true. We've lost 14 people. Even as at just Sunday Sunday evening, coming to Monday morning, we lost another person. So now 15. The number has moved to 15. It's true. We've lost them. We've lost them. We've lost those people. All because they were not having proper dialysis. They didn't have money to go to the private places to go and do. And we've lost them. We've lost them. We've lost them. And brother, it can be anybody at all. It can be you. It can be anybody. This kidney disease, like I say, we have a 13-year-old girl on it. She was 13 when she came on. She has been on it 3 years now, so she's now 16. And where the mother is not working, where is the mother going to find the money to pay the 760? Even outside, we are all struggling. The private ones, we are struggling. The private ones are charging between 550, 600, 700, 800. They're private ones. But once again, I keep saying the kind of service Korle Bu or the kind of treatment Korle Bu give us is a top notch. The clearance is very good. The water treatment is very good. But please, these are human lives. People are dying. People are dying. They should open the unit to the OPD. Please, we are begging them.
How much do you spend on a monthly basis for, apart from the payment for the dialysis, for the medication, treatment and everything?
Okay, with me, the prices that you are talking about now, when it was 380, I was doing I was doing twice a week instead of three. I was doing twice a week because I couldn't pay the 3 sessions. I was doing twice a week, and then if I'm doing twice a week, week, every week I'm spending that is 760 times 4. That will give you 3,040 every week. And this is just by the dialysis going on the machine. The injection we take, the erythropoiesis have not come. Your labs have not come. Your iron has not come. Putting that into cost. So roughly a week, your transportation has not come. I mean, it's not anything that you can eat. We are on some special, a little bit of diet. So in a month, you need roughly about between 4,000 to 5,000 to survive. How much is your salary? How much is your salary? Even how much is the per diem? So please, I mean, some of us, due to these sicknesses, we've lost our jobs. We've lost our jobs. We are depending on few good friends. Even that one, it got to a point. When you pick your phone, you call them, they won't pick. They won't pick. He later give you an excuse, and we understand them because he knows that once you are calling, you are come to ask for money. Maybe he hasn't got payment to give you, but because you are sick, sometimes he has to excuse. And sometimes we've lost our respect. We are always going around begging. We are always going around begging. This prices that it was a 380. So this that I've told you, do the same calculation. Multiply the 765 by 2 times 4. Times 4. Times 4. So, my brother, we are begging you people. We are begging people. The government should do something about it, and they should open it to the OPD people. People are dying. People are sick. People have not got money to go out there. Well, now, if they will not open it, then please, we are begging them. They should call all of us, and then the Kolebu CEO should instruct them to inject us so that all of us will die. They should kill all of us.
Well,
that one will be fine. Rather than what they are doing, that they are pretending that they care.
No.
We don't even see what they are doing.
No. Well, since you made that call for the government to consider at least a partial or a full absorption of the cost of dialysis, has there been any feedback or any response from government to this call or the appeal that you're making?
Brother, this question, we've not heard anything from the government. The only thing we heard, Kulibu CEO was on Joy FM saying that the new prices was not approved by management, and that they are now trying to send it to Parliament for approval and those things. We lent Parliament to some recess. I think they'll be coming next week. And you see, are they trying to tell us that we should wait for Parliament to resume before they take the new prices to Parliament? Would they know how many people more that will die by the time Parliament will approve this thing? If people are saying they should charge the old prices on the Parliament approval, so open the thing to the OPD. Now, sometimes I ask myself, do we even have leaders in this country at all? So is the government, the president, the vice president, chief of staff, minister of health, Ghana Health Service, whatever, are they trying to, they've not heard our cry from last week, Monday, they've not heard our cry. Even they should come out and tell us something. Oh, maybe this, so you people should manage the 380 when Parliament. Nobody has come out to say anything apart from what we heard from the Kolebu CEO. Do these people even care about us? Anyway, I wish I'm not God. Like, I'll give them all of them kidney. Severe kidney. I'm not God. Like, I'll give them all of them kidney. For them to see the kind of situation we go in. Some people cannot even urinate at all. The only means of urinating is going to pay the 380 to go and be on the machine. And you sit there and you've not heard anything. Please, we are begging a media general. Kindly ask these questions for us. Do we even have leaders in this country?
Really, really sad tale, to say the least, of what you're going through. And to be honest, that appeal that you make, it's a heavy, heavy, heavy call that we also support here at TV3, and that's why this call that you're making is not going to end here. In fact, tomorrow we carry this conversation right to the doorstep of the Ministry of Health, about this call or the appeal that you're making for government to at least consider a partial absorption of the cost of dialysis. And thank you very much for joining us. And Bafo Kojo Ahinkra, a spokesperson for the persons with renal conditions, and appreciate your time and that passionate appeal that you're making. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. The country representative of the World Health Organization, Professor Francis Kasolo, has also added its voice to this. He's calling on Ghana's government to investigate the increase in the dialysis treatment at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital without approval. On the sidelines of the annual general meeting and the scientific analysis of medical superintendents group in Accra, he expressed the need for support for such diseases by the National Health Insurance Scheme.
Cost of healthcare across the world has generally been moving up for all sorts of reasons. So we need to see and discuss with the colleagues who are in the for example, Korle Bu, to understand the reason for the increase. But like I mentioned, if our health insurance is strong, it can mitigate the cost of even renal care, if the renal care is on the benefit package of the health insurance. So it is for us to really support the health insurance and to ensure that services such as renal services are included in the benefit package of the health insurance to mitigate the out-of-pocket expenditures that we are beginning to see increase. And if that works, then we will have solved part of the problem of increasing out-of-pocket expenditure that we see with the dialysis cost.
Well, and this is an issue that will stay the steam on, and then, in fact, in a subsequent bulletins, get some answers to exactly what the response is to the appeal by these persons living with various forms of kidney diseases for government to consider having at least some provision for a partial or full absorption of the cost of dialysis under the National Health Insurance Scheme. The WHO has added its voice to it. But coming up, before we go, according to the former Agric Minister and now flag bearer hopeful of the NPP, Dr. Owusu Akoto, you say that it is quite clear that the morale is very low for the NPP going into election 2024. Now, Dr. Owusu Akoto was speaking to the media in the Ashanti region, and this is exactly what he said. Quote, "It is clear to me that morale is very low. The expectation of our activists, as NPP activists around the country for a better life has not been realized. So the NPP is not in a good place to contest to retain power next year," unquote. That's from a flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party. After this statement, there's been reactions disagreeing with him, but this is what he has been talking about. As a flag bearer hopeful, and though he's within the race, he said that it's quite clear that it's going to be a daunting task for the NPP to retain power next year. That's Dr. Efriye Akoto quoted there. You can find a lot more of this, plus some reactions to this statement attributed to him on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. I say thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join us same time tomorrow for some more of a conversation. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.